So, we asked what the current challenge in drug product manufacturing was for each of you, and it looked like scale formulation issues uh, up there as well. So we'll come back to those polls and see how we can get the results and discuss them a little bit later. It did look like was a large one as well. So if you have any comments or questions, you can put those in the comment section. Would be great to learn. If there were specific issues or concerns that you had that weren't listed in that poll. It'd be great to hear back, and maybe we can address some of them in the back end of this. So as we move from your phase 2 proof of concept, you're going to start expanding your clinical trials, and the number of needs is dramatically going to increase, right? And there's going to be the milestones for these late stage development are going to change. Again, if we put ourselves back in the developer's shoes, eyes, if you will, you have to think about the dosage form in phase 1 and whether or not it's patient ready. But you need to accelerate some of those pathways so that you have an advanced level of some robustness that's involved. Ideally, you have to develop something that's ensures scalability. Once you achieve that proof of concept, you're going to start thinking about whether or not this dosage form is commercializable. And if any of you have been involved in accelerated timelines, this is really a on the pants fire moment where you're getting the go ahead that programs need to move, and they need to move very fast. So you really want to make sure that product reproducibility and the quality built into the product is acceptable. Those risk assessments that you identified earlier in your program are going to come back and will be heavily relied upon to help drive some of those optimization and requirements later on. You're going to be asking yourself some very different questions. How do the factors in the formulation might affect the performance of the product, right? How are you going to build quality into this product as you move forward? Now, how can you scale this process efficiently and effectively, possibly while still providing clinical ongoing supplies to your clinics? As that moves forward, what are the critical materials that are adding to the risks posed to the current formulation, other than your drug substance, of course? If you're talking about the manufacturing process, then if you're identifying dosage forms for pediatric populations, you're going to have to keep those in mind too. On an accelerated pathway, you will need to use the clinical process to produce compliance for clinical studies and potentially launch that product. At the same time, introducing more efficient manufacturing processes to supply patients a little more reliable.